There is a silent enemy that slowly steals the peace of millions of people every single day. It doesn't scream, it doesn't attack from the outside, and most people don't even notice when it begins. It starts quietly in the mind. One thought becomes two thoughts become 10. And before you realize it, your mind is trapped in a loop that refuses to stop. Overthinking. The Stoic philosophers understood this problem more than 2,000 years ago, long before smartphones, long before social media, long before the endless stream of information that surrounds us today. They already knew that the greatest battles of life are not fought in the outside world. They are fought inside the mind. Before we continue, take a moment and ask yourself something honestly. How often do you find yourself replaying the same situation again and again in your mind, thinking about what you should have said, what you could have done differently, or worrying about things that might happen tomorrow? If you recognize yourself in this, let me know in the comments. You're definitely not alone. Overthinking is not intelligence. It is not wisdom. It is the mind losing control of itself. The Stoics believed that the mind should be a tool, not a prison. But for most people today, the opposite is true. Their thoughts control them. One negative idea leads to another, and suddenly the mind becomes a storm of unnecessary worries, doubts, and fears. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that our life is what our thoughts make it. This simple sentence contains a powerful truth. If your mind is constantly filled with worry, fear, and endless analysis, then your life will begin to feel heavy and chaotic. But if your thoughts are disciplined, calm, and focused, your life becomes lighter and clearer. The Stoic way of destroying overthinking begins with a simple but powerful realization. Not every thought deserves your attention. Most people treat every thought as if it were important, as if every idea that appears in the mind must be analyzed, explored, and solved immediately. But the Stoics taught something very different. They understood that the mind produces thousands of thoughts every day, and many of them are meaningless: a random fear, a useless worry, a memory of something embarrassing that happened years ago. These thoughts appear automatically, but that does not mean they deserve your time. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus explained that we cannot control what thoughts appear in our mind, but we can control whether we accept them or not. This is where true power begins. Imagine your thoughts as strangers knocking on your door. Some of them bring useful information, others bring chaos. But you do not have to invite every stranger inside your house. You can simply observe them and let them leave. Overthinking happens when we invite every thought inside. We start arguing with it, analyzing it, expanding it, and before long, the mind is completely overwhelmed. The Stoic solution is radical simplicity. Observe the thought, question it, and if it is not useful, let it go. Another reason why overthinking destroys peace is that it focuses on things outside our control. The Stoics built their entire philosophy on one simple principle. There are things we can control and things we cannot control. We can control our actions, our choices, our effort, our attitude, but we cannot control other people's opinions. We cannot control the past. We cannot control random events that happen in the world. Most overthinking happens when the mind tries to control what cannot be controlled. You replay conversations in your head, hoping to change something that has already happened. You imagine future scenarios that may never even occur. You analyze other people's behavior as if you could somehow influence their thoughts. But the Stoics would simply say this: if something is outside your control, it is outside your responsibility. Let it go. Marcus Aurelius practiced this idea constantly. As the emperor of Rome, he faced enormous pressure every day: political enemies, difficult decisions, criticism from powerful people. Yet in his private writings, he reminded himself again and again to return to what he could control, his own mind. At this point in the video, I'm curious about something. What triggers your overthinking the most? Is it relationships, the future, mistakes from the past, or something else? Write it in the comments. Sometimes just recognizing the pattern is the first step toward breaking it. The Stoics also understood another powerful truth about the mind. Overthinking is often just a form of fear. Fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of being judged by others. Fear of uncertainty. So the mind keeps analyzing, hoping that more thinking will eventually create perfect clarity. But perfect clarity rarely arrives. Instead, the Stoics believed in action. Not reckless action, but calm and deliberate action. When the mind becomes trapped in endless thinking, the solution is often simple movement. Make a decision, take a step forward, begin the task. Action breaks the cycle of overthinking. When you are acting, you are living in reality. But when you are overthinking, you are living inside an imaginary world created by your mind. Seneca once warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about that for a moment. Many of the fears that dominate our thoughts never actually happen, but the mind treats them as if they are real. This is why Stoic discipline focuses so strongly on returning to the present moment, not the past, not the future, only the present. Right now, in this moment, what problem actually exists? What can you actually do? Usually, the answer is far simpler than the endless stories our mind creates. Another powerful Stoic technique for destroying overthinking is perspective. When you feel trapped in your thoughts, step back and look at the situation from a larger view. Will this matter in 5 years? Will this moment define your entire life? Or is it simply a small event in a very long journey? Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of how small individual problems become when viewed from the perspective of time. People who insult us today will eventually disappear. Situations that seem overwhelming now will eventually fade into memory. Overthinking magnifies problems. Perspective shrinks them. But perhaps the most important Stoic lesson about overthinking is this: the mind becomes calm through discipline, not through endless thinking. Many people believe that if they just think long enough, they will solve every problem in their life. But the Stoics knew that wisdom comes from clarity, and clarity comes from simplicity. Train your mind to focus on what matters. Let go of what does not. This is not easy. It requires practice. It requires awareness. But every time you choose not to engage with a useless thought, you become stronger. Every time you return your attention to the present moment, your mind becomes quieter. Every time you act instead of overthinking, you reclaim your power. If you're still watching at this point, you're clearly someone who cares about mastering your mind and building real mental strength. If that resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel. This channel is all about ancient wisdom that helps modern minds become stronger and calmer. The Stoics did not promise a life without problems. They knew that life would always contain uncertainty, difficulty, and challenges. But they also knew that peace does not come from controlling the world. Peace comes from controlling yourself. When you stop fighting every thought, when you stop trying to control every outcome, when you focus only on what truly matters, something powerful begins to happen. Your mind becomes quieter, your decisions become clearer, and the constant noise of overthinking slowly fades away. The world today is louder than ever. Notifications, opinions, information, endless distractions pulling your attention in every direction. In such a world, a calm mind becomes a rare and powerful advantage. That is the Stoic way, not escaping the world, but learning to stand calmly within it. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final reflection. The next time you notice yourself overthinking, pause for a moment and ask a simple question. Is this thought helping me, or is it controlling me? If it is not helping you move forward, then it is simply noise. And noise does not deserve your attention. If this video helped you see overthinking from a new perspective, let me know in the comments. I read every comment and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to continue learning how Stoic philosophy can help you build discipline, emotional control, and mental clarity, consider subscribing to the channel, because in a chaotic world, a calm mind is one of the most powerful things you can possess.